Hello, hello, hello. How is everyone this evening? Oh, Emperor's Children. Oh, wow. Okay. Lots to talk about tonight. It's been an interesting day with a lot of leaks have come. So we're gonna have a little bit of talk about it, and then we're gonna finish off looking at some nice little reveals from GW that came yesterday for Age of Sigmar for anyone who wants to stick around for that. But the main thing is going to be the Emperor's Children today. So I was on nights last night. I woke up this morning, well, lunchtime-ish, to being sent a PM of the contents page for the new Codex with all of the units that are going to be available in the book. Pretty much the rumours that were on Bolter and Chainsaw are 100% legit, and it's been quite interesting to say the least. So I've got a load of data slates already. We're going to be looking at Fulgrim, the Flawless Blades, Lucius the Eternal, the Noise Marines, the Organ Guy, and stuff like that. We've got a couple of them. The only data slate I don't have is the Chaos Lord, the Lord of Excelsis or whatever he's called. He's the only one I don't have yet. But I'm sure that over the next couple of days, all of the detachments and everything else, the full Codex will probably be released. It was only a matter of time before that was going to jump in. So yeah, it's been interesting. So my initial response in regards to the leaks, when I seen the units that are available, and for anybody who doesn't know, basically we have this essential, basically this picture dropped, and this is basically what's in the what's going to be in the Codex. So as I went through the video, obviously, you know, we've got the stuff that's in the box, the 2 Chaos Space Marine squads, which again I don't have the data slates for, but I'm not expecting much from those 2 units because they are your basic Chaos Space Marines in an Emperor's Children army. They'll probably a shooty version or a close combat version. But obviously we've got likes of Helldrakes, a Mauler Fiend, the Rhino, the Land Raider, and then the splatter of demon units. And then the only non-new miniatures for the HQ side that we have is the Sorcerer, the Demon Prince with the wings and without the wings. That's it. So yeah, there's nothing crazy there. That's not. That's not necessarily crazily new. So on regards to the units that we've been shown and that would get given. So yes, we lack Predators, we lack Vindicators, we lack Hellbrutes. I mean, we didn't even get a Defiler. Although, to be fair, I do think the Defiler is probably going to be removed from the game at some stage, which is kind of weird. So we've got that. We haven't got any. We have no real long-range firepower per se, really, and that's pretty much what it is. So I'm gonna set that for an hour, and what I'll do is I'll paint on metallic gold stream. All right. So I banged up a gold on the thing for anybody that wants to take part, and then I'll do. And if we achieve it, I'll do a non-metallic gold stream. So yeah, it's interesting. So the units that we do have is I'll jump in there now. So we'll have a little chat about them. So we got the Flawless Blades. Now we don't know points or anything like this, but these guys are nuts. So they've got a 3-up save, with a 5 up invulnerable save. They've come with bolt pistols with a pistol rule. They've got a range of 12, a 1 attack for shot. It's a standard pit bolt pistol. Then they're armed with bliss blades, which is 3 attacks each. They're hitting on 2s, which is pretty nuts. They're got strength 6, AP 3, 2 damage, right? And you're going to have a unit of 6 of these guys. Now, they've got the faction Thrill Seekers, which will be the army rule. So they're going to be able to run and charge. That's pretty cool. Now, when you look at the likes of the detachment where you're looking at your pact points, getting to reroll 1s to hit and 1s to wound is essentially what you're going to be able to do with these guys. And you're then going to be able to give them lethal and sustain hits as well in that detachment. So that kind of makes that detachment look a little bit better when you add that onto this unit. But you have to kill stuff. So, and this leans heavily into their demonic patrons rule. So each time this unit is selected to fight, it can call upon a demonic patron. If it does so until the end of the fight phase, each time a model in this unit makes an attack, an unmodified wound roll of a 3+ scores a critical wound. Really good. At the end of the phase, if this unit is called upon a demonic patrons this phase and no enemy models were destroyed by attacks made by models in this unit, this phase, 1 model in this unit is destroyed. Now, when I initially read that as a unit needs to be destroyed, but it's a model. So you just need to kill a model, which is really, really good. So yeah, you've got that risk reward thing that's going through the Codex. You know, Slanesh gives, but Slanesh also takes away. I kind of like that, but you're getting a crit wound on a 3+. Now, that's kind of cool, but their weapons don't have anything on them, like devastating wounds or anything like that. So it kind of makes me think, are we going to get something in some of the detachments that are going to lean into that and allow them to actually pop that off? Because lethal is auto wounds. So if you've got lethal hits and you roll a 6 to hit, then you're automatically wounding and you bypass the wound roll. So you don't need that rule there, just like it becomes non-void. And sustain is on your hits as well. So the only thing that I know that triggers on a wound roll is devastating wounds, and I've not seen anything that gives them devastating wounds. So that's kind of nice. So obviously, you know, we're gonna need points, but they've got a 3 up save. They've got 3 wounds each. A leadership 6. They move 8 inches, and they've got a 5 up invulnerable. They're basically Emperor's Children 8-bound. Basically, I initially, when I sort of like seen this, I was like, oh my god, these things are going to be a nightmare to buy. And then I realized that, you know, I think we get 6 of these guys in the spearhead boxes or the combat patrol boxes. That's going to be coming out once the general release for the army is out. So, you know, if you're wanting to start Emperor's Children and you're getting the box, we don't get any of these in the launch box, but they are going to be coming at the launch and then in this combat patrol box. So, you know, that starter box plus 3 combat patrol boxes, that gives you, you know, your full collection of what you're going to get. You know, you're not going to be spending points on tanks and stuff like that on this army, unless you're going down the Land Raider route and Rhinos, which is kind of okay. But yeah, it's these guys are pretty cool. I was a little bit worried about the whole killing knights thing, but if you can get these into close combat with a knight, they're going to do some damage. But technically, what's strengths a knight? Yeah, what wounds a knight? How many wounds a knight got? 20 odd? They're like toughness high. So your crit wounds are going to come in handy there. But you've got to get him into combat. So I'm thinking that the detachment that is all about mechanized warfare, with all of the movement shenanigans that they kind of hinted at yesterday in yesterday's article, is probably going to be the best way of playing these guys. But yeah, they're pretty cool. Beautiful models, but they are literally R8 bound. And yeah, you're going to see a lot of these guys in an army, in the armies. It's you know, I would not be surprised if you do not see Emperor's Children armies running 3 units of 6 of these, depending on points at least. So next up, we've got the humble Noise Marine. So again, the rumours are true. They're down to 18 inches, which is a bit weird. Like, a Blastmaster has always been a longer range gun than a Sonic Blaster, so it's a bit strange that it's all capped at 18 inches. I was hoping that the Blastmaster would be at least 24, but it is what it is. So the movement 6, their toughness 5, amazing. They've got a 3-up save, they've got 2 wounds each, leadership 6, 1 OC. They're basically Emperor's Children Havocs, essentially. They've got the Blastmaster, which can be fired in 1 or 2 ways, the single shot or the varied frequency. So basically, single shot, single frequency, 3 attacks, hitting on 3s, strength 10, -2, 3 damage apiece. So again, that mechanized detachment is looking again pretty good for these, because you've got quite a short range gun. You're going to need a transport to maybe push these guys forward so they can jump out and absolutely smash the crap out of a enemy unit. You can bring 2 Blastmasters per 6, so you're going to get at least potentially 6 shots at strength 10 -2 AP, doing 3 damage. Now, there is obviously a character that you can put in these guys as well. The Screamer Pistol ignores cover and pistol, and then the Sonic Blaster is ignores cover, and they're 3 shots each, hitting on 3, strength 5, -1 AP, 2 damage, which is pretty cool. So they're gonna smash Space Marines down, which is quite nice. Close combat, you've obviously got the unit sergeant is going to have a power sword, and then the rest of them are going to have close combat weapons. -2 AP power sword, pretty cool, and it's strength 5 as well, pretty cool. So they have a special rule, so Terrifying Crescendo. So in your shooting phase, if this unit has shot, select 1 enemy unit by 1 or more of these attacks until the start of your next shooting phase. Each time a battle shock test or leadership test is taken for that enemy unit, subtract 1 from the test. That's okay, but you're mainly going to use this to smash down units, basically. Noise Marine's pretty good. I quite like it. Again, it's all going to be down under the points. But your Blastmasters is that unit that's going to carry it. So far, this is your biggest gun, apart from the last cannon on the Land Raider. But yeah, pretty interesting with these ones. Pretty interested on them. So next up, we have the guy that's going to join them. I can't say this guy's name. The Lord Cacophonicist, I believe. So he's got a 4-up invulnerable. He has a 2-up save, movement of 6, toughness 5, 6 wounds. Nice. He has his Screamer Pistol again. It's a pretty much standard pistol. Hits on 2s. -1 AP, 2 damage apiece. Pretty sweet. 3 attacks. And then his close combat weapons. Basically, he has a power sword and a close combat weapon, and that's it. Now, this model's power sword can be replaced with a Screamer Pistol and a close combat weapon. So, cool. So I wonder if the model is actually going to have the options for that. That would be kind of interesting that it does come with the options. That would be interesting if he does come with the options. And this model can be attached to the following units: Emperor's Children, Terminator Squads, and the Noise Marines, which is which we kind of knew from yesterday's article, because the photo with the Emperor's children's sorcerer that was in it had him in a unit of Terminators. So yeah, Terminators, cool. With this guy, but he's a leader, and he can join Terminators and Noise Marines, and he has a couple of rules. So he has oppressive, whatever that is. While this model is leading a unit, ranged weapons equipped by models in that unit have the sustained 1 ability. Now, sticking him in a unit of 6 Noise Marines is going to be nuts, given those guns sustained 1. Those Blast Monsters sustained 1, really sort of pumping out those 6s. That's going to be kind of nice. And, you know, the Slaanesh Favoured unit. So if you're Warlord, you can have this guy as your Warlord. Have him in a unit, and they become that favoured, and then they're getting reroll hits as well. You could do that with that detachment, which is kind of cool. So really sort of fishing for those 6s on those noise weapons. He has a Doom Siren, so in your shooting phase, after this model's unit is shot, select one enemy infantry unit hit by 1 or more of these attacks, and roll 3d6. For each 4+, the enemy unit suffers 1 mortal wound. If the enemy unit suffers 1 or more mortal wounds as a result of this ability, it must take a battle shock test. That's pretty cool. He's a nice model. He's very much a very old school 2nd edition model, and he has that kind of feel to it. But yeah, I think he's going to be pretty good. Depending on points, I can see this guy, maybe 2 of them in your army, either with your Noise Marines or with your Terminators. I'll probably be putting mine in my Noise Marine squads at least, purely because, you know, it's just the way. It's just the best way to do it for him. That sustain hits on those Noise Marines is going to be bonkers. I mean, you know, the Blastmaster, even on the normal frequency, like your unit killer, you're going to be firing 6 shots. So if you've got 2 of them, that's 12 shots. You're going to be wanting a fishing for those 6s to potentially get a load more shots out. At Strength 6, AP 2, 1 damage apiece. So it's not just all about the big single frequency. The varied frequency is still going to put a lot of hurt out. So Lucius the Eternal. Big Lucius. So this is kind of cool. So again, he can only join the Flawless Blades. And it'd be interesting to see what he's going to give these guys. So he moves 8. He's toughness 5. He is a 2-up save, 4-up invulnerable. 6 wounds, pretty spicy. Leadership 6, 1 OC. So he has melee weapons. So he's got the Blade of La, which is the really cool, low significant weapon that Fulgrim was corrupted by, and he has it. So it's just basically, by the time he gets it, a relatively half decent power sword. He has 6 attacks with it, hitting on 2s, strength 8, which is really good, -3 AP and 3 damage a hit. Holy shit balls. He is, yeah, nuts. And then he has the Lash of Torment, which is sustain hits 1. I believe that's a sustain hits 1. Obviously, the blade, the power sword is precision as well. So you know you're going to be able to kill out characters in that, which and 8 that's absolutely crazy. But 10 attacks hitting on 2s, strength 4, -1 AP, 1 damage. That is really, really nice. And he has a 4-up feel no pain as well. So he's a leader and a lone objective. So he can join a unit or he can be running around on his own, which is pretty cool. So a challenge worthy of skill. So each time this model makes an attack that targets a character, monster, or walker. Oh, okay. So here's your Night Killer. You can re-roll the hit rolls and you can re-roll the wound rolls. Yeah, okay. Okay, yeah. 100%, alright, okay. My worriness about taking out knights is now gone because you just put Lucius into combat with them and he's going to mangle them. Absolutely mangle them. Julius Hubris, at the start of the fight phase, if this model is not leading a unit until the end of the phase, it has the Vice First ability. Yeah, he's going to absolutely mangle units. Absolutely mangle them. That is crazy good. But what does he actually give the squad? He doesn't give them anything. It doesn't... What? So he can join Flawless Blades as a leader, but he doesn't actually give the Flawless Blades any buff. He doesn't have any leader rule. He's just, yeah, I can join them and I can run around with them, but I'm not giving you any buffs because it's all about me, which is really Lucius the Eternal, to be fair. That is so thematic. But yeah, it's a beautiful model, and his rules are pretty crazy. Like, whatever he gets into combat with, he should absolutely... Like, I want Lucius the Eternal and Khan to fight. Yeah. I'm gonna have to fight some of my local Chaos players. Lucius the Eternal versus Khan the Betrayer. That's a fight to see. I want to see that fight. Wonder if I can actually kill my friend Liam's avatar with Lucius the Eternal. Never mind Fulgrim. That's pretty cool. I mean, you could put him in a unit to kind of bump him out a bit, but do you really want to stick him in a unit of Flawless Blades and lose the ability to fight first? I mean, he's a lone op, so they have to get within 12 inches to shoot at him. And you could kind of screen him out with some of your shit Chaos Space Marines and then get him in. But he moves 8 inches. So, yeah. And anyone that comes anywhere near him is going to get blended. Yeah. He's spicy. He is. I reckon he's probably going to be... points for Lucius. At least 200 points. At least minimum 200 points. Absolute minimum. He is an absolute monster. See if he comes in at anything less than 160 or less, like that'll get FAQ'd straight away. Because he's an absolute beatstick. If he's not 220, I reckon about 220 points. Because he's nuts. But that's pretty cool. So that's Lucius Eternal. He's an absolute nut job. And then we've got the big man himself, Mr. Fulgrim. Again, we don't know points or anything. But he moves 16. He has toughness 11. He has... save a 2 and an invulnerable save of 4+. 16 wounds, leadership 5, and OC 6, which is pretty nice. Which is good. So he has a ranged weapon. Sustain hits 1, 12-inch range. Cool. 6 attacks on that pistol. Hitting on 2s, wounding on strength 8. -2 AP and 2 damage a pop, which is pretty spicy, which is pretty good. Oh, apparently I've just been sent the detachments. Cool. So, if you are watching, Pete, thank you very much. So, give me a second, peeps. I'm going to have the detachments up as well, so we can have a look at them as well. I'll get them up, and then we'll go over Fulgrim. But, yeah, I've got all of the detachments, all of the stratagems, all of the rules, all of the enhancements. I pretty much said this today that that these would drop. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw them up into my little chat now. Boop, boop. Where are they? Let's have a little look. Cool. So we have the detachments as cool. So we pretty much got everything. We got army rule that we got yesterday. The only thing that we don't have is basically the basic battle line units. We don't have the data sheets for them. I'm sure they'll probably pop up at some point. If Pete is watching, Pete, if you're the man and able to find them, that would be amazing. And the Lord, the Chaos Lord, the new Chaos Lord for them. If I can get them, we've pretty much got everything. So Fulgrim, so he's got a pretty decent pistol. It's quite nice. He has his melee weapon, both sustain hits 1. I didn't really believe that rumour at the start. I thought it was a bit weird. Because if you look at Angron, they've got kind of one rule on one weapon, on one profile, and another rule on another. But he sustain hits 1 on both. So if he does a single strike, he's going to hit you with 6 attacks, hitting you on 2s with sustain hits. Strength 14, minus 3 AP, D6 plus 1 damage. Or he's going to do his unit killer, which is 12 attacks, 2s, 8s, minus 2, 2 damage apiece. So he's basically going to mince Space Marines on that. Serpentine Tail, which is an extra attack. Melee, 6 attacks. And hitting you on 2s. Strength 6, minus 1, and then 1 damage apiece. Which is really kind of cool that the tail's an extra attack, because you're going to be able to do either 6 attacks or 12 attacks with the main weapon. And then you're going to do 6 attacks with the tail no matter what, which is kind of sweet. So he is. If this army is in your army, he's your warlord. That's a guarantee. So he has deadly demise. He can deep strike. Oh my god, that is nuts. He can deep strike. So Morty got given it in an FAQ. Fulgrim just rolls out the bag straight away with it. Oh my god, that is nuts. Right, so he has a demonic poison. So in your shooting phase and the fight phase, after this model finishes making his attacks, select one enemy unit hit by one or more of these attacks. Until the end of the battle, that enemy unit is poisoned, and at the start of each player's command phase, roll a d6 for each poison unit on the battlefield, and on a floor plus, that enemy unit suffers d3 mortal wounds. That's pretty cool. So you basically, at the start of your opponent's command phase, select one of the abilities over from the left until the start of your opponent's next command phase that has the ability. So you basically, if you go second, all right, and your opponent goes first, the start of his command phase on turn 1, you're going to pick one of these abilities. And if you go first, you're not going to pick one until you go second, because it's the start of their command phase. So you're going to have a turn at least. If you go first, you're not going to be doing this. So what I would do is, if you've gone first, put him in deep strike. But then you roll off after you've deployed. Yeah, you can put him in deep strike. There's got to be movement shenanigans, but we're going to go through the detachment shortly. So, Beguiling Form, so each time a model makes an attack that targets this model, subtract 1 from the hit rolls. Minus 1 hit is really good, and it's an attack. So that's melee or shooting, which is really good. That's really good, actually. That's quite some good defensive abilities from ranged weapons. Demonic Speed, so you can give him fights first. Nice. And while an enemy unit is within 6 inches of this model, each time that unit is selected to fall back, it must take a leadership test. If the test is failed, the unit must remain stationary. That's probably the one you're not going to use that often. Let's be fair. You're either going to be minus 1 to hit, or you're going to be fighting first. You're not really going to do the other one. But yeah. And he basically gets bracketed if he takes 6 damage. Or 6 damage remaining. So yeah, that's pretty. Yeah, he's pretty spicy. He is pretty spicy. So we've got the detachments. So we've got rapid evisceration. So this is the one that they were talking about with the mechanized stuff. I do apologize if the picture is not that big. So basically, each time an Emperor's Children model from your army makes an attack, if it disembarked from a transport this turn, you can re-roll a hit roll of 1 and a wound roll of 1. So that's the detachment special rule for that. So this is all about jumping in detachments. Fights first is too OP. We have to remove it from the Custodes. Then everyone is getting fights first. But no one should be playing Custodes anyway. They shouldn't be leaving Terra. They shouldn't be leaving Terra. They're a silly army and they should not be leaving Terra. Their job is to guard the Emperor, not fight the wars in the galaxy. So this is the detachment I was really actually looking forward to seeing, because it's the one that has a little bit of shenanigans in it by the sounds of it. So you've got enhancements. So you've got Sublime Prescience. So Emperor's Children Infantry models only. So once per turn in your movement phase, the bearer can use this enhancement. If it does so, select one of this friendly Emperor's Children transport that is in strategic reserve until the end of the phase. For the purpose of setting up the transport on the battlefield, treat the current battle round number as being 1 higher than it actually is. Okay, it's pretty cool. Next one, Spearhead Striker. So Emperor's Children Infantry model. Each time the bearer disembarks from a transport until the end of the turn, you can re-roll charge rolls made for the bearer's unit and enemy units cannot use the fire overwatch stratagem to shoot at the bearer's unit. Holy shit. That's really good. That is really good. That is really good. Shut down Overwatch on the way in. Yeah. I mean, like, Howling Banshees kind of get to do that. The Eldar kind of do the same thing, don't they? With their little maneuvery things. That's really cool. Accomplished Tactician. So Emperor's Children Infantry models only. Once per turn in your opponent's shooting phase, just after an enemy unit is shot, you can select one friendly Emperor's Children unit within 9 inches of the bearer that was hit by one or more of those attacks. Then select one friendly transport unit that is wholly within 6 inches of it, able to embark within. Emperor's Children units can embark within that transport. So if you're stood next to your transports and you get shot at, you can jump into the transport. Okay, it's kind of cool. And then finally, the Emperor's Children Infantry model only. Once per battle round, when a saving throw is failed by an Emperor's Children vehicle model within 6 inches of the bearer, you can change the damage characteristic of that to 0. That's pretty sweet. So that's pretty good. Yeah, I mean, the main thing is you're going to be getting reroll hit rolls of 1 and wound rolls of 1 for this detachment when you jump out of a transport. So that's kind of cool. So Land Raiders and Rhinos is going to be your thing. So you've got your the light on this is bad. So you've got your stratagem. So they're all 1 CP. So you've got on the next. So fight in the fight phase. After an Emperor's Children unit from your army destroys an enemy unit, the Emperor's Children unit and one friendly transport is able to embark within. If your Emperor's Children unit is wholly within 6 inches of the transport, it can embark within it. So you can basically kill a unit in the fight phase, pay 1 CP, and jump in a transport straight away. So you can roll your Land Raider up to an objective with some guys on it, jump out, murder the shit out of that unit on the objective, be within 6 inches of your transport, pay 1 CP, and then jump back into your transport, ready for the next roll forward. That's kind of cool. Advance and Claim. So your command phase, 1 Emperor's Children transport from your army that has 1 or more Tormentors units embarked within it. That's the close combat Chaos Space Marine guys. Excluding Battleshock units, select one objective marker you control that your transport is within range of. That objective marker remains under your control until your opponent's level of control. So basically, you, for 1 CP, you get sticky objectives. So, Dynamic Breakthrough, 1 CP, your movement phase, 1 Emperor's Children vehicle unit from your army that has not been selected to move this phase. Until the end of the phase, each time a model in your unit makes a move, it can move through enemy models, excluding monsters or vehicles. When doing so, it can move within engagement range of such models, but cannot end that move within engagement range of them, and any desperate escape test is automatically passed. It's cool. So you can kind of push through. Cool stuff. Powerful 2. I hope the White Scars get something like this at the end of 11th. Yeah. I mean, this is pretty cool. I mean, it's definitely got shenanigans. Definitely got shenanigans. I mean, there's another couple of them that we're going to go through anyway. So, yeah. I think this stream's going to be a little bit longer than an hour, to be fair. And I'll probably do maybe a YouTube video tomorrow with everything. So for anyone who hasn't watched the stream back. But yeah, so what else we got? Ceaseless Onslaught. So that is really small. I can't read that. I'm going to have to zoom in on my photos. Bear with me. Right, there we go. Cool. Right, so 1 CP, your charge phase. 1 enemy unit from your army that disembarked from a transport that made a normal move this turn. Until the end of the phase, your Emperor's Children unit is eligible to declare a charge. Okay. That's okay, that's cool. And then reactive disembarkment for 1 CP. Your opponent's shooting phase just after an enemy unit has selected its targets. 1 Emperor's Children transport from your army that was selected as the target of 1 or more of attacks. Units attacks. 1 Emperor's Children unit embarked within your transport can disembark. When doing so, models in that unit can set up anywhere on the battlefield wholly within 6 inches of the transport and not within engagement range of 1 or more enemy units. So you can kind of jump out and save. So if your Land Raider is almost about to get smashed and die and you don't want to be, you know, taking the damage from them, you can bail out before it gets destroyed. Outflank strike at the end of your opponent's fight phase. 1 enemy Emperor's Children transport from your army, or up to 2 Emperor's Children dedicated transports from your army. For each of those transports wholly within 9 inches of 1 or more battlefield edges, remove it from the battlefield and place it in strategic reserve. So you've got movement shenanigans for 1 CP. Hey dude, how's you? So yeah, that's interesting. That's kind of cool. There's definitely some cool stuff here. I'm really liking the detachment rule overall, just the jumping out. I like transports. This is the one that I was hoping to get a bit excited about. Maybe 3 Land Raiders packed with flawless blades is probably going to be the way. Who knows? But let's roll on to the next one. So, Peerless Blades Masters. Now, we've kind of already seen this one. Is this not the one that they shown off yesterday in the article? I believe it is. So, each time an Emperor's Children unit from your army selected to fight, if it made a charge move... Was I not BC? I haven't played 40k really in about a year. Yeah, they're looking decent. There's a lack of news. There's a lack of Chaos Space Marine stuff coming in with them. But what they are getting seems to be quite spicy. While resolving these attacks... Oh, wow, wait a minute. This is actually kind of cool. So each time an Emperor's Children unit from your army is selected to fight, if it makes a charge move this turn, select one of the abilities below. While resolving those attacks, melee weapons equipped by models in that unit have this ability. So they can either have lethal hits or sustained hits 1. So your flawless blades, with their 3 attacks each, can have sustained hits 1. That's kind. I need to go up my app because unless someone can tell me in the chat, oh, okay, yes. So flawless blades are definitely your night killers. So they do their demonic packs, and they're wounding those knights on 3s. You can give them sustained 1 with this. Okay, okay, all right, okay, right. That's kind of cool, right? See, it's been a while since I actually played 40k properly. Okay, so they've got some enhancements. So they've got Flawless Opportunist. So an Emperor's Children model, which is basically your Lord or the Sorcerer and the Demon Prince. So you can target the Bearer's unit with a Heroic Intervention stratagem for 0 CP, and can do so even if you have already targeted a different unit with that stratagem this phase. Cool. Bleeding Speed, so Emperor's Children model only. Once per battle, at the start of the fight phase, the bearer can use this enhancement. If it does so until the end of the phase, models in this unit have the fight's first ability. That's pretty cool. I'll be interested to see if the Lord can join the Flawless Blades, because if you can, that would be really cool to put him into that unit and then power him into somebody's face. And then Distortion, Emperor's Children model, add 1 to the attacks and damage characteristics of melee weapons equipped by the bearer. It's pretty standard. And then Rise of the Challenge, Emperor's Children infantry model only. Once per battle at the end of the fight phase, if the bearer is within engagement range of 3 or more enemy models, it can use this enhancement. If it does, the bearer can fight 1 additional time. When doing so, you can select 1 ability using the Execute Swordsman Detachment rule, see left, and apply to those attacks. So, if you charge, you pick 1. If you're within 3 or more enemy models, you can then use the other one. So you can basically give your Chaos Lord on foot lethal hits and sustained hits as well. That's kind of cool. This is quite a nice detachment. I'll be honest. So it's the stratagems. So you've got Deft Parry, so it's 1 CP. In fact, there's a couple of 2 CPs in this one. So the first one, 1 CP. Fight phase. Just after an enemy unit has selected its target, 1 Emperor's Children unit from your army that was selected as the target of 1 or more of the attacking unit's attacks. Until the end of the phase, each time an attack targets your unit, subtract 1 from the hit rolls. So -1 to hit. Nice. For 2 CP, Death Ecstasy. Fight phase, just after an enemy unit has selected its targets. 1 Emperor's Children unit from your army that was selected as the target of 1 or more of the enemy's attacks. Until the end of the phase, each time a model in your unit is destroyed, this model has not fought. The destroyed unit can fight and then be removed. So fights on death. I think this is the one that they shown off yesterday. An Incessant Violence, so fight phase just before the Emperor's Children unit from your army consolidates. The Emperor's Children unit, until the end of the phase, each time a model in your unit makes a consolidation move, it can move up to 6 inches rather than 3. provided that the unit ends that consolidation move within engagement range of one or more enemy units. So 6-inch consolidation, but you have to move into another unit. Nice. And then we have Cruel Bladesman for 1 CP. Fight phase, one Emperor's Children unit from your army that made a charge move this turn and has not been selected to fight this phase. Select effect. Until the end of the phase, improve the armor penetration characteristics of melee weapons equipped by models in your unit by 1. You can play that on Lucius the Eternal. So in the fight, so you just pick one Emperor's Children unit from your army that made a charge, like Lucius charges, and has not been selected to fight. Until the end of the phase, improve the armor penetration characteristic of the melee weapons equipped by the model by 1. So you can bang that on Lucius. That's absolutely crazy. Terrifying Spectacle. So your opponent's command phase, one Emperor's Children unit from your army that made a charge move in the previous turn and destroyed one or more enemy units in the previous fight phase. Each enemy unit within 6 inches of your unit must take a Battleshock test. Enemy units affected by this stratagem do not take any other Battleshock tests for the same phase. And that's 1 CP. And then finally, we've got cut down the weak for 2 CP. Your opponent's movement phase just after the enemy unit falls back. One Emperor's Children unit from your army can only be a selected vehicle if it is a walker. Mauler Fiends. Okay, that makes sense. I had to think there. What walkers do we have in the army? Mauler Fiends. That is within 6 inches of the enemy and would be eligible to declare a charge against the enemy unit if it were your charge phase. Your unit can declare a charge. Cool. So they can fall back and you can charge them. Awesome. So that is that detachment. That's not bad. I quite like that one. So we've got the Courtier of the Consided. That's the one that they shown yesterday with the Dark Pack points. So they kind of shown that in the article yesterday. Basically, the whole gist of this one is you pledge how many units you're going to kill, and for every pledge that you do, you gain that amount of points. And as those points add up, you get bonuses. So you get things like... So if you've got one point, your army gets reroll hit rolls of 1. If you have 3 or more, you reroll hit rolls of 1 and wound rolls of 1. And then at 5 or more, you then gain lethal hits and sustain hits 1. And then when you do 7 or more, each model in this unit makes an attack. Critical hits are scored on a 5+ rather than a 6+. So your guys just progressively get better. I'll not go over this one too much because we kind of seen the vast majority of it yesterday. There is nothing amazingly stand out for that one. You've got to Feel No Pain for 6+. Pretty good. You can ignore all modifiers, the hit rolls on your ballistic skill and weapon skill, basically, for 1 CP. You can Embrace the Pain. Your opponent's shooting phase. You've kind of got an Armor of Contempt in this for 1 CP. You can worsen the armor penetration coming in. That's the Armor of Abhorrence. You've got Unburdened Arrogance, so your shooting phase. Just after an Emperor's Children unit from your army destroys an enemy unit, increase your pledge of by Slaanesh by 1. You can only use this stratagem once per battle round. So every battle round you're going to be able to pop a CP and increase your pledge. So kill a unit. So when you're shooting phase or fight phase, just after an Emperor's Children unit destroys an enemy unit, you're going to, so if you pledge for 1, you're going to get 1 point straight away. So that's the reroll hit rolls of 1. You can then pay a CP for this, and that'll bring you up to 2. And then next turn, you'll be able to do the same. Yeah, that's pretty deep. Yeah, it's pretty cool. So, next, Slaanesh is chosen. So this is the other one that they shown yesterday. This is the one that your unit leaders, or your unit leaders, basically your heroes, your characters, as that unit kills units, the favoritism of Slaanesh goes on to them, and they're the ones that get the buff. So the favored champion's unit gets the reroll wound rolls, basically. So some of the enhancements they've got, you can reroll charge rolls made for the bearer's unit while the bearer is your favored unit. So it's all going to be around the favored unit part. So if that unit is the favored one, they're the ones that's going to get the buff. More OC. Yeah, it's pretty decent. The stratagems are not too bad on this one. I think this is kind of a fun one. I don't think it's... I think so far it's the Peerless Warriors. The one that you can give them sustained or lethal is going to be the one you're going to go for. That or the Mechanicus, or the mechanized version, to be fair. But this sounds okay. All the stratagems are 1 CP. And again, we've seen a lot of this in yesterday's article. So the big one is Carnival of Excess. So this is one that we've not seen. So, Demonic Empowerment. So this is the rule for this detachment, okay? So while an Emperor's Children unit from your army is within 6 inches of 1 or more friendly Legions of Excess units, it is empowered. Alright? While a Legions of Success unit from your army is within 6 inches of 1 or more friendly Emperor's Children units, it is empowered. While a unit from your army is empowered, weapons equipped by that model gain sustain hits 1. And if a weapon already has that ability, each time an attack is made by that weapon, an unmodified crit roll of 5+ scores a critical hit. So basically, this is your Marines Demon Detachment, essentially. Your combined arms between the two. So you can include Legions of Excess units from your army, even though they do not have the Emperor's Children faction keyword. So this is the rumor that there was going around that the demons are not going to benefit from any of the Emperor's Children rules, even though they're in the book. The combined points cost of such units can include in your army. So if you play a strike force game, so a 2,000 point game, you can have up to 1,000 points of demons. An incursion 500, and then an onslaught 1,500 points. No Legion of Success models from your army can be your warlord. So you can't make a Greater Demon of Slaanesh your warlord. So you've got a couple of enhancements. Again, points and stuff like that is we've not seen. So the Emperor's Children model only, once per battle, you can target one friendly Slash unit within 6 inches of the bearer and they can heroic intervention for 0 CP. Alright. Dark Blessings, Emperor's Children infantry model only. Once per battle, just after the enemy unit has selected its target, the bearer of this enhancement until the end of the phase. That line of light straight down there is really annoying to read it. Basically, that gives you an invulnerable save. Dark Blessings. Poised Blades, Emperor's Children model only. At the start of the battle, select one melee weapon equipped by the bearer. Add one to the attacks characteristic of that weapon. In addition, each time the bearer is selected to fight, it can use the enhancement. If it does, while resolving the attacks, add one to the damage characteristic of this weapon. And that weapon has the devastating wounds and hazardous ability. Okay. And then Warp Walker, Emperor's Children, or Keeper of Secrets. That's kind of cool. So you can give you a Keeper of Secrets an enhancement. Model only. Each time this bearer uses an advance, do not make the advance roll. Instead, the unit of the until the end of the phase, add 6 to the movement characteristics of the bearer. Each time a model in the bearer's unit makes a normal move, advance or fallback move, it can move through enemy models. While doing so, it can move within engagement range of such models, but cannot end within engagement range, and any desperate tests are automatically passed. Yeah, pretty cool. So they've got all the stratagems. They've got two CP stratagems, the two at the bottom. And this is the last attachment. So you got Sustained by Agony. In fact, this Pete sent me any more. Okay. I lost my picture. Right, so we've got Sustained Agony, so 1 CP. Fight phase, just after an Emperor's Children unit from your army destroys an enemy unit. Select an Emperor's Children unit. Select one friendly Legion Success unit within 6 inches of your unit. One model in that Legion Success unit recovers up to 3 lost wounds. If it's a Demonette unit, return up to D3 plus 3 destroyed models instead. Alright, so 1 CP, you're going to be able to replenish your demon units. Cool. Ecstatic Slaughter, 1 CP. Fight phase, just after a Legion of Success unit from your army destroys an enemy unit. The Legion of Success unit and one friendly Emperor's Children unit within 6 inches of it that is not wholly within engagement range of 1 or more enemy units. Your Emperor's Children can declare a charge. And if it does so, and it is already been selected to fight that phase, it cannot fight again this turn. Okay. And then for 2 CP, Violent Crescendo in the fight phase, 1 Slanesh Beast, Slanesh Infantry, or Slanesh Mounted unit from your army that has not been selected to fight this phase. Until the end of the phase, each time a model in your unit makes a piling and consolidation move, it can move up to 6 inches instead of 3. When doing so, it does not need to end its move. It does not need to end the move closer to the closest enemy model, provided it ends that move as close as possible to the closest enemy model. Okay. And then 1 CP, your charge phase, 1 Legion Excess unit this turn. Until the end of the phase, your unit is eligible to declare a charge in a turn in which it advanced and fell back. So obviously they're not going to get the army rule, so they can't they can't advance and charge. But that's a CP that allows the demons to do it. Provided at least one of the targets of that charge is within engagement range of 1 or more Emperor's Children units from your army. Okay, that's kind of cool, but you've still got that caveat at the end. Uncanny reactions. Your opponent's shooting phase, when you select one of your units to be shot at. 1 Slanesh unit from your army that was selected as the target of one or more of the attacks until the end of the phase. Each time an attack targets your unit, subtract 1 from the hit rolls. So -1 to hit for 1 CP. And then dark appreciations. So end of your opponent's phase, 1 demonate unit from your army that is not within engagement range of 1 or more enemy units. Remove your unit from the battlefield and put it in strategic reserve. And then you can deep strike. It can set up anywhere within 6 inches instead of the 9. So you can drop 6 inches away, which is kind of works in with the new FAQ. Provided it is also set up within 9 inches of a friendly Emperor's Children unit. So you can drop 6 inches from the enemy, but you have to be with 9 inches away from Emperor's Children units. And that's it. That is all of the stuff. Wow. So, yeah. That's interesting. Flawless Blades are pretty cool. Fulgrim's an absolute monster. Again, there's at least 3, not excluding the Sorcerer and the Demon Prince. There's at least 3 data slates that we've not seen. The Lord, and then the 2 Battle Line units, the Chaos Space Marine units. The detachments look good. I'm really liking the mechanized one. Sounds really fun. And Peerless and the Peerless Bladesman detachment. So when you charge, you get to give them sustain hits or lethal hits. And I think that's really cool. Especially if you're going to go heavy into your Flawless Blades. That seems to be the detachment that you kind of want to take. But yeah, that's pretty sweet. I'm pretty impressed with that, actually. I'm pretty impressed. So, anyone, any questions? Anything to say? Any wants? Any stuff like that? Feel free to ask, and if I've got them, I can try to answer or show as best as I can. But that's pretty cool. But I will probably do a video tomorrow breaking this down a little bit more. But yeah, these guys are going to be nuts. Absolutely nuts. It's like auto wounding on 3+s if they do their thing. The only thing you have to do is you have to basically kill that unit. So if you go into combat against a knight or something like that, you have to basically lift it in combat. And like Lucius the Eternal is just mental, absolutely mental. I mean, potentially in one of those detachments, you can get him to -4 AP. That's just wrong on so many levels. So many levels. Absolutely wrong. That's, yeah. Well, either way, that kind of makes up a little bit of the fact that we are missing quite a lot. We don't have any tanks. No Hellbrutes, which is a shame because the Hellbrute's a nice model. No Predators, no Vindicators. Let's be fair, no one's going to go out and rush out and buy a Helldrake because they kind of suck. Unless they've been given a new data slate to make them rank really good. But I can't see it. The one thing that out of all of it that really kind of makes me baffled, and I don't understand why they've done this, is the whole Maulafine thing. Like, they're selling you a kit that you can only use one build from. So it's like, hey, here's a... What kit's got a dual kit? It's like your Incursors, guys. See your Incursors? The big Gravis jump pack unit for Space Marines with the plasma or the heavy bolters. It's like, yeah, you can only take the heavy bolters. You can't take the plasma. It's like it's yeah, I don't get that. I don't understand why they would do that. Um, but this makes you wonder though if the Death Guard book is going to be treated the same. So are the Death Guard going to lose things like the Predators, the Hellbrutes, the generic Chaos Space Marine units? Are they slowly going to get moved out of the cult codexes and only really going to be for Chaos Space Marines? You know, and are the 4 cult codexes going to get units to fill those gaps? I mean, so right now, the Emperor's Children don't really have much in the way of walkers or tanks. So does that mean like later on down the line they're going to get like demon engines and transports and the like? They don't even have cultists, which is weird because the whole thing about the Emperor's Children in the lore is that they have a lot of cultists, and there's 0 cultists in this book. So yeah, it's kind of odd. It is kind of odd, but I'm sure we'll see with the World Eaters. The World Eaters is going to be the next big one for Chaos. Obviously, there's their second wave is meant to be coming, and that's going to be the mounted Berserkers on Juggernauts, a unit of 3. So there's meant to be that. So we'll see what they lose, but also gain, and that'll be kind of interesting. But yeah, I'm still going to be jumping into my Emperor's Children. I'm still going to get them. I'm looking forward to getting Lucius the Eternal and painting him up. Fulgrim looks insane. Are they going to be super competitive and strong? No idea. I'm just going to enjoy painting pink, I think. Enjoy painting pink. I do think Flawless Blades are going to be really, really hard to get hold of, just like the Eggbound were for World Eater players. But at least with the combat patrols, there's going to be 6 of them in that box, so that's not too bad. But yeah. But anyway, that's the stream. That was kind of cool. It was a lot better than I initially thought. I was just going to rant for an hour about the lack of Predators. But we ended up getting pretty much all of the data slates and the detachments and stuff. So thanks very much to the boys for sourcing those out for me. And yeah, cool. But they go on pre-order this Saturday. I've already got my box pre-ordered. It's been pretty much pre-ordered since it was announced. I told my local store I want it, and I'm on the top of the list for it. So, yay. Can't wait. So I will be... Obviously, I don't get sent things by Games Workshop. So I'm not going to be doing any review stuff this weekend. But what I will do is I will... as soon as I get my box, I will... do a little bit of an unboxing, show some of the models off, and do some unboxings for each of the units. I'll be coming off nights that morning. I'll probably not go to sleep, and I'll probably be awake until I get round to the store when it opens a couple of hours after I get in to pick up my box, and then I'll be like playing around with it, and then I'll maybe crash and then do some stuff. But yeah, I'll then start making the content thick and fast on the Emperor's Children, and getting them on. I'm super excited. Emperor's Children are one of my favourite Chaos Legions. They're really, really, really cool. Noise Marines have been really cool. They've kind of been an army that have been so iconic since 2nd edition, but haven't really been given any love. And it's nice to see them now getting the love they deserve. And we get Fulgrim, so, that's awesome. So yeah, the boys in pink are coming, and it's going to be a fun ride to do them. And I'm all for it. All for it. So yeah, cannot wait. All we need now is Space Marine 2 to put some Emperor's Children colours into the game. So when I play Chaos Space Marines in PvP, I can actually look like an Emperor's Children, and that would be amazing. Because right now, they're the only ones that are not in there, and it's kind of sucky. So, yay, we need Emperor's Children in there. But anyway, thanks very much for watching. Thanks for everyone for chatting. If you haven't watched, if you are watching on the pre-record and you haven't subscribed yet, it would be amazing if you could hit that subscribe button now. It definitely helps the channel massively. And, you know, watch some of the other content that's up on the channel as well. There's a lot of painting videos coming. There's going to be a red tutorial. I'll be working more on that tomorrow. And for the Emperor's Children, there's going to be an Emperor's Children painting tutorial for that pink. What else? That's it. And, yeah, that's it. And I'll probably do Fulgrim, but that'll probably be a members area video. Videos, because I'll probably do a series on Fulgrim in the members area and over on Patreon. Probably. But I'll see. But anyway, that's the stream. So thank you very much, everybody, and I will catch you all later. I'll see you next week. Bye-bye for now.